Thursday morning, Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. Okay, on a Thursday morning. My name is Wale Scott. Welcome on the show. Too many things we have to discuss and dissect this morning on the show. But let's start with this one. And I have my issues with this one, actually. Now, the Edo Deputy Governor, Philip Shuaibu, says the government is ready to invest and reposition sports and discover talents in sporting activities across the state. Shuaibu made this statement while declaring the one-day stakeholders workshop on sports development in Edo State open.
Has put in place a transformational way of doing things and discovering talent in all sporting activities. Government has committed huge funds in rebuilding major infrastructure that will enhance sport development in our state. Indeed, the Obaseki administration has remained steadfast with a vision of transforming sport sector and restoring Edo State's lost glory. For us as a government, permit me to reiterate our commitment towards returning sport to the native land.
For stakeholders to gather and to look at the way forward for our sports in Edo State. I'm very convinced that the objective for this workshop has been achieved. But going forward, like the head of service has said, it's one thing to formulate policies, but it's another thing to ensure that those policies are implemented. I have no doubt in my mind that what we have done here today, that making our state great again, is very, very much possible.
Where those states insist that they want to invest more in talents, they just finished the Edo Sports Festival, despite the fact that I was totally against the idea that they wanted to do it despite the COVID pandemic. They still went on and it was a success, yes. But now they are here. And, okay, I'll ask my question if I know if my guest is here already. Do I have Wale Adekoya, yes, on the show? Wale, good morning.
Wale Scott, I salute you. How are you?
I'm good, and you, sir?
Yeah.
Let me start Wale this morning, Wale Adekoya. Edo State government, despite the noise we made, still went on with the sports festival despite the COVID pandemic. And everybody knows that sports is the opium of the people. We have nothing else. We have nothing else but sports to make us happy in Nigeria. These guys now say we are going to invest more in sports. Is this a political gimmick?
Yeah, the dangerous way that we are mixing politics with sport or sport with politics. Having proposed and to be disastrous to sport in the land. Like you rightly observed, Wale. Look, sport, we're talking about unemployment, youth restlessness, problems here and there. Sport alone can solve all these problems at least 71%. That is talking conservatively. But when you have political holders trying to do an aggressive and unplanned marriage of sport and politics, what you have is what you have now. Because at the end of the day, the sport festival that I held in Edo State will now be to the benefit of individuals rather for the collective good.
Okay, Wale Adekoya, please don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Like I planned on Saturday, or like we planned on Saturday, Plus Sports Special, we'll look at the days of when Nigeria had more privately owned teams and how well they were doing, using Abiola Babes as a case study, considering Saturday is June 12th. Okay, but Jack Grealish still been around the likes of Jordan Henderson and Harry Kane on England duty has matured him as both a player and a person. The attacking midfielder who broke the record for the most fouled player in a single Premier League season in 2009-2020 said he's happy to take the kicks of it and means winning set pieces for England. Grealish spoke of the happy atmosphere around the camp and sounded delighted at being compared to Paul Gascoigne, Gaza. He also revealed that he once collapsed before an English age group training session when he was 15 years old.
For me, it's no reason why he's not. He's at the top of his game, you know. And like I says, I think he's had one of the best Premier League seasons I've ever seen. But you know, he's right up there, and I'm surprised he hasn't won a few more awards. Definitely, I think it's changed me on and off the pitch. I think that was always going to come. You know, I was always going to grow up a bit more at some stage. You know, mature a bit more. But I think the main thing, you know, is being here for this season. You know, you come here and you see the likes of Jordan Henderson and Harry Kane, and you know what they do off the field. Obviously, what they do on it, we can all see that. But what they do on the training pitch and around the place, and how they look after themselves, you know. And you sit there and you think, no, it's no wonder why they have, you know, why they've had the careers that they have had. And you know, that's, I think, one of the main things that has made me mature as a player, as a person, and as a captain.
So while they don't go anywhere, I'm going to where you feel more comfortable right now. Now, Rafael Nadal won 9 games in a row to close out his Roland Garros quarterfinals with Diego Schwartzman. The match was level at 1-1 with Nadal trailing 4-3 in the third set before he was able to move up a level and set up a potential semi-final meeting with Novak Djokovic. It was the Spaniard's 115th victory in 117 matches at Roland Garros, with Djokovic and Robin Sunderland the only 2 players to beat him on the Puggy clay. But Nadal was much more keen to look ahead to his last 4 match than dwell in the numbers. Now, Wale, Rafael Nadal, king of clay, always makes it happen. Is this guy on his way to the finals, already in the semi-finals?
Well, Wale thought, without being disrespectful to their various opponents, I can tell you without fear of favor that it's difficult to say at this point who will. For you, we're going to have Rafael Nadal in the final. But when you think back that the opponent is one unpredictable, a predictably unpredictable gentleman in Novak Djokovic, you want to think twice. This is a guy who sees sport as a war. And if you remember the beginning for Novak, he was actually born during those civil war in his homeland, so he knows what combat means. And he has shown it in every single game he has played in tennis. So the world, at this time, people are talking about the distraction of COVID-19 and other things, sports lovers, tennis enthusiasts. We are excited, absolutely, because the people is subjected to bombardment and firmament of the best of tennis, and I can just wait to see what goes. I can't tell you who wins. Yes, potentially, you want to say Rafael Nadal will win, but then nobody is ever a guy to underrate, be it on clay, hard court, or anywhere. It's an evenly pushed match, and we want to see. But if Nadal wins, he will be moving to tradition. 2 amazing guys, anybody to win.
Now, Wale, on paper, everybody gives it to Rafael Nadal. Now, what, in your opinion, what gives Rafael the edge over Novak Djokovic on clay?
Well, the whole thing is that, you know, Nadal actually taken over the play, and anyone coming behind must be ready to fight it out. But like I said, Novak has also shown that play or anywhere is a match for anybody. So we watch, like I said. But yes, I won't give it out to Rafael Nadal. Even the start, one player that Nadal himself doesn't want to meet anywhere is Novak Djokovic, because they are stop joking. And this one definitely will not be an exception.
Okay, Wale, stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Now, like I said to you guys early in the morning when the show first started, Wale Adekoya is the guy to go to when it comes to tennis, as long as the world is concerned. And now a fired-up Novak Djokovic repelled a stirring fight back by Italian Matteo Berrettini to claim a 6-3, 6-2, 6-7, 5-7-5 victory yesterday. Now, set up a mouth-watering semi-final showdown with defending champion Rafael Nadal. 34-year-old beloved a series of frightening roars after completing a victory that at one stage looked like a formality, but became increasingly fraught as Berrettini threw the kitchen sink at the serve, who becomes only the second man to reach 40 Grand Slam semi-finals after Roger Federer. It was a spectacular conclusion to a match that was watched by 5,000 fans until midway through the fourth set when Paris COVID-19 curfew meant the crowd were obliged to leave.
Well, you can imagine. It's okay.
C'est un match. Djokovic. 3 manches en 1. 6-3, 6-2, 6-7, 7-5.
Now, Wale, Djokovic has always complained that he wants the crowd to come back after COVID pandemic. He had 5,000 fans there, but before the match finished, before he won, they had to leave because of the curfew in Paris. However, he was so elated when he got a point. He shouted, despite the fact the crowd had left then.
Yeah, absolutely. After the fans leave, there was an absolute silence in the court.
Total silence, yeah.
Until Novak decided to, light up the whole place. He has his magic. You can't take it away from him. He's a total sportsman. He will give you all the aesthetics. He will give you all the panache, all the razzmatazz, and he's a complete athlete. So, part of the silence in the court, he was able to give even sports writers something to report, and it's simply amazing.
Now, I said it earlier. It's the semi-finals before the finals. One of our favorites is going to crash out today or tomorrow, somehow, because it's going to be Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic in the semi-finals. And I would have wished for two of them to be in the finals, but only one will be in the finals. And like you said earlier, you said Novak will give Rafael a run for his money. But would you say, okay, which of them would you be sure would go through?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The world, since the draw was made, the tennis followers, we have said that somehow if both of them keep winning, we'll definitely meet at the semifinals because it's the path. Sometimes it works that way. At times, imagine if the other big boys like FedEx himself, Roger Federer, if they have been in the competition, perhaps would have said either Djokovic or Nadal might have met someone like Roger Federer, but that's not to be injury and stuff have to force them out. So now, let's see how it goes. Definitely, we are watching our final. Indeed, that actually will be the final match. But then, you can never tell. I would expect the other semi-finalists to also give us a final to behold. Because if you look at the two young men, they have always been knocking. But somehow, when you have in Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic, they don't want to quit. As they age, they keep, increasing the stake. So in advance, Wale, I'm picking this pass because and also for the German himself, that the Zverev is going to be tough for. But one of them will be in the final, no doubt. I'm rooting for Zverev, believing that somehow German will be in the final. But then missing either Djokovic or Nadal will be another ball game altogether.
Okay, now defending champion Iga Swiatek was knocked out of the 6-4, 6-4 by Greek Maria Sakkari In the French Open, the 20-year-old Pole, who took an off-court medical timeout early in the second set, was overwhelmed by Sokari's power and pace on court. Philippe Coutinho, with up to almost 5,000 spectators, now allowed to attend. World number 9 Swiatek, bidding to become the first woman to retain a title since Justine Henin in 2007, got off to a confident start, but lacked her usual poise against Sakari, who dictated most of the points and was greatly helped by her opponent's unforced errors. Okay, now, Wale, we have all the big names in the female counterparts in French Open all out. First, there was Osaka, who complained about different things, and then Serena, and then Venus. And Swiatek, who we thought is a top-notch there, who could make it happen, is out too. We have little or nobody in the female sector in the French Open right now.
The men appear to be lasting longer. It's not just working for the likes of Serena Williams, Big Sister Venus, and Marat Sharapova had an issue, from drug, and after coming back, based that it wasn't to be on. Well, let's just simple, not really been so. I've not been so happy because all my favorites, the only African in the tournament had to go. Serena Williams, as a matter of fact, the female, it's the women tennis, and for me, when Williams left the competition. But be that as it may, the show must go on, and somehow the Greek, that's Sakari herself, she said it after she won that match, saying, this is a best come true, playing the semi-final alone. And when you hear an athlete, especially a solo athlete, say things like, feel mojo.
Okay.
Because Swiatek is never going to, and now it has another one which is very tough.
Okay, I still got Wale on the show, but for some reason, the network, you can understand that. Now, the International Olympic Committee's Executive Board held its last meeting on Tuesday before leaving for the Tokyo Olympics. IOC President Thomas Bach spoke to fellow senior officials with the Games just 5 days away. The scheduled meeting took place against the backdrop of pressure on the IOC and local organizers over the Games due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Many people in Japan say it's too dangerous for them to go ahead with only a small proportion of the Japanese population vaccinated. Speaking to media in Japan on Tuesday, Tokyo 2020 CEO Toshiro Moto welcomed the fact the executive board meeting did not discuss cancelling or postponing the event. Now, Wale, despite the noise being made, the pandemic is with us here. Don't do Tokyo Olympic Games. The Tokyo Olympic Games organizers say it will go on. Okay, the network is really, really very bad with Wale there. But just in case you can still hear me, Wale, thank you very much for joining us on the show this morning. Thank you. We're very grateful. Thank you. In the NBA, Donovan Mitchell was critical of his own stellar 45 points contribution as Utah Jazz rallied to beat Los Angeles Clippers 112 to 109 in their NBA playoff series opener. And Mitchell admitted as being lazy and prone to making mistakes in the first half of the game, but was buoyed into a more productive second half after sharing words with catch-up with coach Quinn Snyder. 24-year-old two-time All-Star also refused to rank Tuesday's performance among some of his previous playoff games, prioritizing his focus on putting the Jazz in the best possible position to take the next 3 games.
Feeling it a little bit, but sometimes you just got to dig deep into a different place. And I was getting my ass kicked individually the first half on both ends of the floor. Wasn't making the right reads. Luke hit a bunch of shots on me. Reggie hit a bunch of shots on me, and there were situations that I was just being lazy, and letting that fatigue kind of get to me. So I came at halftime. I was just like, look, I'm just gonna have to find a way. And that was the biggest thing for me. And you hear that with what Coach said. hopefully, you know, continue to go out there and make the right reads. But as far as where do I put it as far as games, I don't really know. At the end of the day, I know that I got to do this 3 more times.
I got to take a look at it, but I thought the physicality in the second half picked up. You know, picking up full court, getting into us, being physical, and we didn't match that physicality on the offensive end. You know, taking the ball out of bounds on the sideline or baseline out of bounds, they're getting into us, and you know, we had a couple of turnovers that led to easy baskets for those guys. So we got to own our space. You know, coming back game 2, owning our space and being more physical on the offensive end.
You know, we started off the game well, and it's just a thing where we got to carry it off for 48 minutes. I thought we did a good job of communicating there in the first half, you know, throughout the entire first half, and then, you know, had a slower start to the third, and then maybe definitely had some breakdowns, but it's stuff that we can fix.
There's no excuses. Like I said, we had, you know, 10-point lead at halftime. We just have to keep being aggressive. You know, I felt like we came out flat. Yeah, we just got to all watch film and see what we could do better overall.
Continue to give ourselves chances. I think that's the positive. That terrible third quarter to start the half, up, 13 or 14 in the third to start it. And we just came out flat. They came out, I mean, they were playing desperation ball the whole night. And, you know, we didn't match it until late.
Welcome back on the show, and of course, that's all we can take on the show today. We had Wale Adekoya via phone call, but the network was, you know how these things are. Join us same time tomorrow, same station, Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. My name is Wale Scott. Like I always advise you at the end of every show, if not for anything, at least for your heart, do some sports.